Hi, Nigel. How have you and the remaining players used the international match period?
um, to work hard. Training over the last 2 weeks has been good. I think the players have got quite a lot out of it. We had an internal 11v11 last Thursday, which was really good. So for players who needed more pitch time, um, that was beneficial, and also for myself and the rest of the staff to look at some of our younger players. So yeah, it's been a very good training week in fact, and our preparation for the game yeah was last week and this week. So even though we don't get players back,
I take it you're not going to tell us the lineups for that game.
correct. You've got it in one. So you knew the answer to the question. So, but you still asked it anyway. But that's fine. It's. Do you mean the training game last week?
Yeah.
We had everybody who was fit and able to took part in it. So we did 3 20 minutes games, and it was good. The refereeing was very poor, though, I'm afraid.
Was that yourself? Or?
Yes, of course it was. Yeah.
Okay. You've signed Danny Simpson.
Yep.
With just 8 games to go this season. It's a bit of an unusual time to recruit a player. What's the thinking behind that move?
Danny has qualities as a footballer that we currently don't have enough of, and that is experience, know-how, and yeah, it's probably feels unusual for people to get their head round, but he's a free agent, so it was an opportunity to get some more experience into the squad, and I think that's where we need a little bit more of that.
Darren Moore has gone on record about speaking about Danny, that he could have signed at Sheffield Wednesday, or they were looking at him at least. So was other clubs being interested a factor in bringing him in now?
No, not at all. No. When I spoke to Danny about it, and he told me that Sheffield Wednesday had showed some interest, I said, look, at the end of the day, you make your own decision based on what you feel is best for yourself in terms of a career move. But just invited him down to train, and he really enjoyed training. He knows 2 or 3 of the players already, and yeah, it's a chance for us to have a look at him, and for him to have a look at us too. So there are benefits of being able to secure short-term agreements, because it is, like I say, it is a observational opportunity for both parties.
Yeah, I was going to say, is it possible that he could stay longer than just the 8 games this season? Is that something you've discussed?
No, I've not discussed it at the moment. He's yet to play for us, so yeah, that will be again. We have a number of players who are out of contract, and it's an opportunity for players between now and the end of the season to stake a claim to remaining as players for Bristol City. So time will tell.
National charity Women's Aid have condemned the club's decision to recruit Danny Simpson, given that he was convicted of assault a few years ago. I'm not sure if you've seen that online, Nigel, but do you understand that concern?
Gregor, I always have tried to have a very open mind and and I really do accept different points of view that people have. I understand some of the reservations that people have had, but I also believe very strongly in people having a second chance, another opportunity. I would never go into making decisions that are without giving it a lot of thought. I've spoken to people who've been involved in Danny's journey after the aftermath of his conviction that he has to live with. I've spoken at length to people who've given him support and spoken to Danny as well. So I think there are some, I fully understand people's feelings about this, but I also, as I've already said, believe in giving people an opportunity as well. So I've never been afraid of making tough decisions, and so I've had to, in my managerial career, make decisions that are based on or have been the subject has been about thefts at the training ground, racism within training grounds, and I've never shirked responsibility from making difficult decisions. I try and make correct decisions. What I try not to make is politically correct decisions, because it's something I feel very, very strongly about, and having experienced myself in the past when I've been out of work or lost a job, I've had my own reputation and character questioned very publicly, and it's a difficult experience to deal with, and so because I do have that type of experience, I also feel it is I feel that I have to, or not have to, I feel that it's important to have a generous disposition in terms of how I view other people's personal situations. So it's not about it's not about being judgmental. It's not about being taking the moral high ground just because I feel I can. It's listen, we at the football club have spoken at great depth about this. So it's not something that's I know is going to be universally popular, but as I've already alluded to, I think it's also important to give people another chance.
Sure, just a housekeeping one now. Why was the club's home game against Luton Town pushed back a day to be played on the Sunday?
No idea.
Okay.
Listen, do you know something? With fixtures, I don't know whether you probably noticed, but I don't really moan about when fixtures are. So, we've got our game on Friday, and we tried to move it, but couldn't because Millwall wouldn't agree to it. So, I don't waste any energy, time or energy worrying about stuff like that. All my attention is to getting the players in the right frame of mind and getting them physically fit enough to play. So I don't know. Can you tell me?
I wondered if it was to do with maybe Bristol Bears playing the day before or something like that, but I've no idea myself.
Well, it would make sense, wouldn't it, to have another day to prepare the pitch? Of course it would.
You've moved into the club's new training facilities this week. How important is that facility for you?
Well, it gives us the opportunity to develop a very positive culture. It's absolutely outstanding place to work, and to rename where we work as the Robins High Performance Centre, I think is very is a key move for us also, because clearly at the moment we need to we need to do better than we have been doing to meet the expectations of that as a name for the facility. And our aim is, of course, to produce really outstanding young players, but also to have success on the field. And well, our aim has to be to get to the Premier League. And I think it's important that we are transparent, that our aspirations are not just about being also-rans, it's about us being very ambitious. And what the one of the key messages, I suppose, about moving into somewhere like this is the challenge is there, very much. We have a beautiful place to work with incredible facilities, and now it is time to deliver on the very important green rectangle that exists at Ashton Gate. So yeah, I mean, look, it's I think very exciting times, but also for our fan base, I think it's also very important that we deliver where it's really important to deliver, and that is on the pitch. But look, to change, to get a shift in culture and a shift in mindset collectively, because that's what it takes. It's not about just a few individuals having an impact. It's about people taking ownership of what we're trying to achieve, and so that is players and staff alike. And it's about us trying to not just visualize our journey, but give people the opportunity of being involved in it, and if they don't want to, giving them the opportunity to go and do something else, because we need an environment which creates very healthy competition with ambitious people in it. So yeah, I see it as being a bit of a watershed moment for the club, in the sense that the plans have been in place for a long time, and for Steve and for John, for their vision for not just Bristol City but for Bristol Sport. It's a significant step, and a real statement of intent, and I think that's something that is very positive. And Bristol as a city is, I think, very lucky to have people willing to invest not just the amount of money but time into trying to realise people's dream, and that is for this club to be in the top flight.
With that aim, do you believe that it will help attract and retain players at Bristol City, or is that a little bit overplayed at times these days because so many clubs have good facilities?
Well, it certainly can't hinder us. That's one thing for sure. But let me just clarify one thing about attracting players. For me, it's not about attracting marquee players. It's about creating a squad that is not only has the ability to deliver promotion to the Premier League, but has a desire and thirst for success, and wants to be a part of something that is a little bit different. The story here is really quite a unique one, and we won't be going out into the market just to buy players who feel it's a nice place to come to. Not at all. We need to create. I think again it's similar to the Bears story. I met with Pat Lam last week. We had a really good chat. Met a number of his staff, and and it puts us under pressure somewhat to deliver a similar type of story. So that in itself is really, I think, a positive challenge. I don't see that as being anything other than a really good narrative for us as a football club to produce to produce a winning culture within the club. But again, it doesn't happen overnight, and people need to grasp the reality of where they sit in it, and that's really an important backstory. And I think, you know, one of the things that our supporters have also missed. All right, they've missed seeing us play on the pitch, but I think it's also important that they hear from people like myself what the intentions are and what the journey might look like for them as well. And it's going to be, you know, it's again, I'm not going to use that P word, but it's really is. It's a great opportunity for us, and it's important that we visibly show our intent. Let's put it like that.
So, after meeting Pat Lam, does that make you a Bristol Bears fan now, Nigel? He hasn't tried to sign you up to play in the second row there. I could imagine you doing a good job at lock.
Yeah, I felt like, I'm not exactly the biggest man in the world anyway, but I certainly didn't feel particularly physically matched to some of the guys there. But hey, it's I was made to feel very welcome there, and as I've said to Pat and his staff there as well, there's an open invitation for them to be here when it's appropriate to do that, of course, with the but we are all tested regularly, COVID tested, so it's really, I think it'd be a great initiative to share ideas. Clearly there are differences between different sports, but we are both in team sports. The language that we use, the vocabulary that we use is sometimes different, how we frame our own areas of expertise, but there are also lots of similarities as well. And for me, it's really to share stories, to share experiences of sport is a very interesting thing to do. So, hopefully we can share ideas, and hopefully we can share success as well.
Just to round off a few team news questions for Friday, if you would, Nigel. Bamara Jeju played 16 minutes last night. I believe Adam Naj is a game tonight that he might be involved with Hungary. Do you expect both of them to be in contention to play on Friday, given international travel and COVID protocols?
They'll be available, hopefully. Whether they'll be included is another story. But again, you won't be getting the information from me on that one. But providing that, they travel safely and are okay, we will, just to give you the information on how we see it, the first thing that they will do when they return here is to be tested again, to do a recovery program as well. So Sessegnon is a player who won't arrive back until tomorrow. So, you know, we have challenges in terms of getting the players available to play, but I think with games coming in quick succession as well over the Easter period, it gives us an opportunity to utilise the players that we have in the squad. So you never know, you might see some changes.
I've seen that you've already spoken to the club media team on the likes of Thomas Callis and Callum O'Dowda, but I just wanted to ask on Nathan Baker, because we watched him a couple of weeks ago playing for the under-23 side, and he has been pictured in training, but we haven't seen him playing for either the senior or the under-23s. Has he had some kind of setback at all, or is he still moving towards becoming possibly ready in the future?
We know that training game I told you about. So what do you think the reason for games like that is? it is to give people like him more pitch time, but in a controlled fashion. I think one of the things that you have to remember with players who are coming back from certainly long-term injuries, when you place players into a game situation, it becomes very uncontrolled. You know, that in the sense that if it's a competitive game, that you can't really protect the players anymore. They will, and I'm a big believer in players training how they play, but unfortunately, it still is very, very difficult to replicate game scenarios just in a training exercise. But that's why we had the game on the show pitch here, because it was a very competitive game, and people like Baker certainly got lots out of it. So he's in contention, and will be in the squad for the matches over the weekend, over the Easter period. So that will clarify it hopefully for you.
Great stuff. And just finally on Stoke City, Bristol City put in a very good performance up there in the Potteries, but I expect you are expecting a tough challenge on Friday.
Yeah, because they've got a really good squad as it happens, and I'm sure that they're probably feeling that they could have had a much more successful season than they've had so far. It'll be a tough game, yes, but I just want our players to be focused on us getting our own performance right, and ultimately we need to change this home form record that is we don't enjoy having such a poor record at home. Really, it's not something that we it's not something that we enjoy. Let's put it like that. Time to change that, and yes, it will be a tough game, but to win a game like this would really put some impetus back into the remainder of the season.
Well said. Good luck on Friday.
Thank you very much.